Part 61. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanbao. Chapter 601. If I guessed correctly, the red light just now should be Yaksha. Now 3 of the 4 evil ghosts are in the underworld, and only Yaksha is outside. Now that Yaksha has appeared, does that mean, Zhong Zhengling is in some danger? I denied this idea as soon as it came up. Will not. How could something happen to Zhong Zhengling who is so powerful? These mental activities only last a few seconds. I used the power of the 9 Eyes heavenly domain to instantly arrive in front of Rakshasa. I held the heart sword and stabbed Rakshasa in the chest. At this time, Rakshasa was concentrating entirely on how to enter the formation, and he did not expect that I would suddenly attack. He had no chance to dodge at all. I stabbed his chest firmly with my sword. What I didn't expect was that the Rakshasa who was stabbed by me flew towards the center of the formation like crazy, not caring about the injury on the mountain. I was shocked and quickly used the crimson flame. The crimson flames instantly gathered into a wall of fire in front of the formation, blocking Rakshasa's path. Flames are fatal to ghosts. In addition, the sword I just struck has seriously injured Rakshasa. If Rakshasa wants to enter the formation, he can only pass through the wall of fire. If he does this, he will definitely end up in a state of despair. However, I see that Rakshasa has no intention of stopping at all. Suddenly, several black shadows flashed past my eyes, surrounding Rakshasa. I took a closer look, and it turned out to be those evil ghosts. I don't know since when the netherworld ghost sea has been defeated by hundreds of ghosts. Those 100 ghosts rushed towards the side like crazy. They used their bodies to protect Rakshasa and then rushed into the wall of fire with Rakshasa. I looked shocked and wanted to stop it, but it was too late. Those fierce ghosts shared the crimson flames for Rakshasa. Rakshasa successfully entered the formation. Xiangyi was not idle either. He also went to stop the other 2 ghosts, but he failed. The 3 fierce ghosts turned into red light and shot straight into the sky. The magic circle was completely activated and then spread slowly. The entire underworld began to collapse, and endless darkness swallowed everything here. And a blood-red channel passed down from Tianfu City. For a moment, the 100 ghosts began to cheer. It's been hundreds of years. I can finally leave this hellish place. I want to eat people. I must eat people. Ha 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 ha. We can finally go out. Xiangyi came to my side and looked at me solemnly. It's terrible now. The barrier of the underworld has been broken. Once these evil ghosts return to the earth, they will definitely be devastated. I also realized the seriousness of the matter. Now I started thinking about whether there was a way to break the situation. Xiangyi continued beside me, if I go to the underworld to mobilize troops now, I'm afraid it will be too late. At this time, I suddenly thought of an idea. And this method is very dangerous for me. I raised my head and looked at Tianfu City. Tianfu City looked particularly quiet at night, with lights on every house extinguished and citizens falling into sleep. If these evil ghosts really return to the earth, then I don't know how many people will die as a result. Thinking of this, my expression became serious. I looked at Xiangyi and said, Master Xiang, I have a way to stop this. Xiangyi looked at me with a firm look in his eyes, as if he had guessed what I was going to do. Boy, don't mess around. I smiled at Xiangyi and said, there is only one way to stop this now. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanbao. Chapter 602. The underworld began to collapse, and all buildings were swallowed up by darkness. The magic circle on Zhongshan Square in Tianfu City echoes the magic circle in the underworld. The scene in the magic circle began to become blurry, and the brain began to feel dizzy, as if it was in a whirlpool. A feeling of weightlessness surrounded me. I don't know how long this feeling lasted. After returning to normal, I was already on Slander Square in Tianfu City. Also appearing with me was Hayaki. Begui seemed very excited to see the light of day again. We're finally out. Finally left that hellish place. I smell the popularity. It's been hundreds of years. We can finally eat meat. As I looked at these excited and ugly ghosts, I became more and more determined in my decision. I condensed my expression, stretched out my hand, and unfolded the Nine Eyes heavenly domain, covering the entire Zhongshan square, including these evil ghosts of course. This is already the limit space that I can display the Nine Eyes heaven realm. The 100 ghosts had just left the underworld and were trapped by me again. A ferocious expression appeared on the face of each ghost. They yelled at me, "Boy! You didn't think you could trap us like this. If that's the case, then we'll kill you. Tear you apart. Then eat your soul. Let you disappear from this world forever." These fierce ghosts are like caged beasts. They have endured hundreds of years of hunger, and the first thing they want to do when they come out is naturally to eat people. In an instant, the surrounding wind surged, and the strong yin qi gathered together, bringing extreme terror to people. They looked ferocious, bared their teeth and claws, and bared their teeth at me. The saliva flowing from the corners of their mouths showed how much they thirst for blood. Xiangyi looked at me quietly from the side. He already knew what I was thinking. That is to kill all these evil ghosts here. This is very difficult for me to do. But even destroying one can reduce Tianfu City's losses. I looked at these fierce ghosts coldly, and suddenly I held my right hand in the air, and a sword emitting golden light was held in my hand. As long as I'm here, there's no way you can leave here. As soon as these words came out, all the ghosts present began to laugh wildly, and the sarcastic voices rang in my ears. Just you? Who do you think you are? That's right. You want to trap us here just by yourself? It's simply wishful thinking. Lu Xiling spent a lot of effort to trap us in the underworld, but you can't even hold up one of his fingers. This is the second time I heard the name Lu Xiling. The first time was in the sky coffin. This Lu Xiling is undoubtedly stronger than Yun Xiaozi. My eyes became colder and colder, and I looked at Begui and said word by word, "You can give it a try." Seeing me like this, all the ghosts showed resentment on their faces, and the evil wind became stronger and stronger. Just when the 100 ghosts were about to attack me, a muffled sound suddenly came from behind me. Immediately afterwards, an unknown aura spread from behind me. My heart trembled. It was a coffin. The aura on the 100 ghosts instantly weakened, and a look of shock appeared on the face of each ghost. I saw a look of respect in their eyes. I turned my head stiffly and saw that the corpse coffin had been opened, and blood and water were boiling inside, just like boiling water. A figure slowly sat up from the coffin. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanbao. Chapter 603. The man was wearing a blood-red Taoist robe, with silver hair and a white beard, a gloomy face, and a ghostly aura exuding between his brows. The yin energy emanating from the body is enough to condense the air, and the air is filled with invisible pressure, making people breathless. The man slowly sat up from the coffin, looked around, and finally placed the realization on me. The corners of Mission Ghost Master's mouth slightly raised, revealing a sneer. He slowly stood up from the corpse coffin, and the hundreds of ghosts behind him fell to their knees in unison, shouting respectfully at the Mission Ghost Lord. Welcome the Ghost Lord. The sound resounded throughout the world, and it was hard to imagine that these ferocious evil ghosts would respect the Ghost Lord so much. This shows that the Ghost Lord must be very powerful. The situation in front of me is really difficult to deal with. There is a wolf in front and a tiger behind. The 100 ghosts are enough to give me a headache, and now there is another Ghost King. Now this situation is a fatal situation. The Ghost Lord took a step forward and walked towards me slowly, his face full of playful amusement. "Lu Su, we meet again," Mission Ghost Lord said slowly. I looked at him coldly and said, "Isn't it good to stay in the coffin? Do you have to come out to seek death?" Mission Ghost Lord burst out laughing after hearing this. "Ha ha ha. It is naturally peaceful in the sky coffin, but my revenge must be avenged. You locked me in the sky coffin, did you ever think that I would one day come out?" I didn't say anything, and still looked at him coldly. Mission Ghost Lord slowly raised his hand, blood-colored mist spread over his body, and a blood-colored magic circle appeared in his palm. "I will take advantage of your strength and your memory to kill you before you recover, so that I can take revenge and realize my ambition." The bloody magic circle expanded instantly and enveloped me. Xiang Yi's expression condensed, and his figure flashed, and he came to me. He waved his hand casually, and the summoning flags on all sides faced off against the blood-red magic circle. Mission Ghost Lord saw Xiang Yi's face slightly turned aside, then raised the corners of his mouth, and said with a smile, "Xiang Yi, I didn't expect that after such a long time, you are still a little ghost." Xiang Yi looked at him coldly and said, "Stop talking nonsense, you can't touch him." To be honest, I was very touched by Xiang Yi's actions. The relationship between me and him is no longer that of superior and subordinate, but friends, brothers, and even relatives. Mission Ghost Lord's eyes became colder and colder. He looked at Xiang Yi and said word by word, "Hundreds of years ago, you became my enemy for him. Hundreds of years later, it is still the case. If this is the case, then just go die together." As soon as he finished speaking, the two mission elders standing on one side came to Xiang Yi in an instant. "And then fight with it?" Xiang Yi yelled at me, "Lu Su, don't be brave. Get out of here quickly." When I left here, I was slightly stunned. I looked at the lights behind me, and my heart slowly sank. Now as long as I leave, the nine-eyed heavenly domain will disappear, and hundreds of ghosts will loot the entire Tianfu city and turn it into a purgatory on earth. I never knew what the meaning of my existence was. Just to survive? I think that's not the case. I never considered myself a saint or a big shot. But right now, I can't leave. Because I want to protect the city behind me, even if it means giving my life. My friends live in the city and I have indelible memories. I looked at Xiang Yi and said with a smile, "Leave." "I won't leave. I want to stay here." Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 604. Lu Su, you. Xiang Yi looked at me for a long time and was speechless. Seeing my resolute attitude, Mission Ghost Master's smile became even thicker. "Since you want to die so much, then I will make it happen for you. Kill you, and then I will solve Mission's matter again." Things about Mission. Hearing these words, I was slightly stunned, and then asked emotionally, "Luo Tian De Jiao is indeed your conspiracy?" Mission Ghost Lord smiled and said nothing. My heart slowly sank. It seemed that what Zhang Shi said was indeed correct. The Lucian De Jiao in Mission is a conspiracy against all capable people and strangers. That means, Su Tianqian will be in danger. Thinking of this, my heart can no longer calm down. Mission Ghost Lord waved his hand, and the blood-colored Taoist robe began to squirm crazily. Then, countless pale ghost faces poked out from under the Taoist robe. The grimace grew in size at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then the corners of his mouth raised, letting out a sinister and terrifying laugh. I watched these ghostly faces warily. The next moment, the ghostly faces emerged from under the Taoist robes and flew straight towards me. The ghostly face opened its bloody mouth in the air, and Ning's laughter filled the entire night sky. I squeezed the art with both hands, and bloody thunder burst out from the palm of my right hand. After seeing the bloody thunderju, Ghost Lord's expression changed slightly. He said with some disbelief, "I didn't expect that you actually regained the ability of your right hand." I raised a sneer at the corner of my mouth and said, "Is it just the right hand?" I raised the thunderbolt in my hand and struck it at the ghost face closest to me. Boom! Thunder exploded, and the grimace instantly turned into ashes and disappeared into the night sky. Crimson flames burned in the Nine Eyes Heaven realm, and the sea of ghosts and ghosts emerged behind me. Seeing this scene, Ghost Lord's eyes flashed with a hint of shock. "It seems that I can't keep you here. I know that the soul-stealing bloody hand, the Nine-Eyed Heaven, the sea of ghosts and the crimson flames gave Mission Ghost Lord a sense of crisis. Of the 9 evil spirits in the sky coffin, I have successfully killed the 3 evil spirits. And he is next." Mission Ghost Lord flashed and came to me with a suffocating yin energy. He raised his palm, and the strong yin chi gathered in his palm, and then blasted towards my chest. I quickly took a step back, and a golden secret cylinder shot out directly from the center of my eyebrows, blocking my face. The Mission Ghost Lord struck the heavenly secret barrel firmly with his palm. I shouted loudly, and countless thin golden threads shot out from the heavenly secret barrier, tying up the Mission Ghost Master tightly. Taking this opportunity, I summoned the heart sword and wrapped the crimson flame around the sword. I raised my sword and stabbed the Mission Ghost Lord between his eyebrows. This set of movements was smooth, without any sloppiness. I originally thought that I would hit this move in one hit, but what I never expected was that the Ghost Lord actually used powerful yin energy to break free from the shackles of the golden thread. Immediately afterwards, a thick bloody mist spread from his body. He stretched out his hand and grabbed my neck. The blood-colored mist wrapped around my neck following the movements of Mission Ghost Lord, and then I was lifted up by the blood-colored mist. Then, I felt the power in my body draining away rapidly. The vitality of the body is also dissipating. This suddenly reminded me of what Su Tianxian once said to me. Mission Ghost Master practices mission magic and can strengthen his own strength by absorbing people's souls. This ability is a bit like the star-absorbing technique in martial arts novels. Now I don't have any strength in my body, and I can't struggle even if I want to. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanba. Chapter 605. Xiangyi was also too busy taking care of himself that he couldn't spare a hand to help me. At this time, I suddenly felt someone approaching the black barrier of the Nine-Eyed Heaven realm, and they also stretched out their hands to gently pat the barrier. This made me slightly stunned. If you want to break the Nine Eyes Heaven realm, you must not slap the barrier. Thinking of this, I used my last bit of strength to open a gap in the Nine Eyes Heaven realm. Mission Ghost Lord laughed ferociously, "Ha ha ha. Lusu. Lusu. We originally thought that you would not reappear in the world, but after you were born, we were in crisis. So, we took away the ability that originally belonged to you and turned you into a human pig. Because, by taking away your power, we can break the coffin and reappear in the world. I never thought. Your grandfather risked his life to take back your limbs and 5 senses. He gave you a chance to live. So what if I take it back? Today, you will die in my hands." The words of Mission Ghost Master also made me understand that since the moment I was born, I have possessed powers beyond ordinary people. However, it was taken away by the 9 evil stars. As Mission Ghost Lord laughed ferociously, my strength was rapidly weakening. If this continues, I will definitely be sucked dry by him. Just when Mission Ghost Master wanted to kill me, a ray of sword light flashed in front of my eyes, directly cutting off the wisp of blood mist connected to the Mission Ghost Lord. The blood mist dissipated and I fell heavily to the ground. I struggled to stand up and saw a lonely figure appearing in front of me. He was holding a long sword and had great aura around him. I recognized who he was with just one glance. Zhong Zhengling. Nothing happened to him. Zhong Zhengling's voice rang in my ears, "Just leave it to me." I hummed, and Xiangyi also broke free and came to me. He supported me and asked with concern, "Boy, are you okay?" I shook my head at him. Zhong Zhenling watched Mission Ghost Lord confront him coldly. After Mission Ghost Master saw Zhong Zhenling, he raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth. "Zhong Kui's descendants, you are really difficult to deal with." Zhong Zhenling turned out to be a descendant of Zhong Kui. No wonder he takes it as his mission to destroy evil spirits in the world. Zhong Zhenling said coldly, "The word difficult is more appropriate to apply to you." The aura emanating from the invisible confrontation between the two would freeze the surrounding air. Mission Ghost Lord slowly stretched out his hand, "As long as I absorb your soul, my strength will be greatly improved. Then with those guys from Mission, I, Ghost Lord, can hold the world in my hands." This sentence exposed Mission's intention to hold the Lucian Daijiao. It turns out that he wanted to absorb everyone's souls and use them to strengthen his own strength. This Mission Ghost Lord is really sinister and vicious. Zhong Zhenling raised his long sword, pointed it at the Mission Ghost Lord, and said word for word, "Since I was young and practicing Taoism, I knew that I would spend my whole life chasing down evil spirits. In this battle, I will do my best to clear the way for all creatures in this world. And you will definitely become the dead soul under my sword." Zhong Zhenling spoke with awe-inspiring aura, and his lonely back became majestic at this moment. After hearing this, Mission Ghost Lord burst into laughter. "Clear the obstacles? Your lifespan has long come to an end, and your survival in this world is going against nature. Do you think you still have the ability to kill me?" Hearing this sentence, I was stunned on the spot. My lifespan has already ended. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 606. I looked at Xiangyi in disbelief. Xiangyi just sighed slightly and said nothing. Zhong Zhenling did not respond to these words of Mission Ghost Lord. He just raised his sword and attacked Mission Ghost Lord. In an instant, the two people were fighting. Zhong Zhenling held a long sword in his hand, and his whole body exuded dazzling golden light. The yin qi around the Mission Ghost Lord surged, and the blood mist dispersed. He used various Taoist techniques to fight against him. For a time, the two people were inseparable from each other. I also wanted to go up and help, but was stopped by Xiangyi, who pointed behind me. I looked back and saw Begui with a ferocious expression on his face, looking at me fiercely. I took a deep breath. Since Zhong Zhenling is with Mission Ghost Lord, I have to clear away all potential threats for him. These evil spirits are also the ones I must kill. They must not be allowed to leave the Nine Eyes Heaven realm and bring disaster to one side. Xiangyi whispered in my ear, "With the strength of you and me, it is really difficult to deal with these evil ghosts." I looked at Xiangyi, raised the corner of my mouth slightly, and said, "Master Xiang, I can deal with these fierce ghosts by myself. You can help Zhong Zhenling to deal with the Mission Ghost Lord together." Xiangyi looked hesitant when he heard what I said, and asked, "Can you really do it alone?" I nodded and replied, "Don't worry." Seeing my persistence, Xiangyi nodded, then flashed and disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already behind Mission Ghost Lord. However, as soon as Xiangyi wanted to take action, he was blocked by the two mission elders. For a while, the situation on the field reached a stalemate again. I looked at the hundreds of ghosts in front of me. Under the night, these ghosts had different shapes, but without exception, their eyes looked at me full of viciousness and resentment. They bared their teeth, and the yin qi emanating from their bodies gathered in the air. The yin qi was powerful enough to condense the air. All of a sudden, a dark wind blew up in Zhongshan Square, making the trees on both sides make a roaring noise. Dark clouds in the night sky blocked out the stars and the bright moon. The world fell into darkness, and countless pairs of eyes emitted bloody light in the darkness. At this moment, hundreds of ghosts burst out and rushed towards me. The oppression brought by the 100 ghosts was fatal, making me feel as if my blood was frozen. I summoned the heavenly secret with the golden light killing and slashing formation. The heavenly secret judgment emits a dazzling light, and a huge magic circle emerges from the ground of Zhongshan Square, and then slowly rises, shrouding hundreds of ghosts in it. The golden light condensed in the magic circle and transformed into countless slender threads. Suddenly, a group of golden threads attacked, tightly binding the ghosts. Hyaki instantly lost his ability to move. My face hardened and I controlled the formation. An awe-inspiring righteousness spread out from the magic circle, and golden light shot out from the magic circle like countless sharp swords. The golden light pierced the body of Begui, and in an instant, the miserable howls of the fierce ghosts could be heard. However, this attack can only kill those evil spirits with shallow moral skills. It has no effect at all on those powerful ghosts with deep spiritual knowledge. You know, these evil ghosts have been living in the underworld for who knows how long. The lowest level of Taoism is 70 or 80 years, and even worse, it has been as long as 1,000 years. In the final analysis, I am still not strong enough. If my strength can reach the level of Yunziazi, it will be no longer a problem to deal with these evil ghosts. Soon, those powerful ghosts broke free from the shackles of the golden light and began to attack the magic circle. I have to grit my teeth and maintain the operation of the magic circle. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanbao. Chapter 607. I not only have to maintain the golden light killing and killing array, but I also have to maintain the Nine Eyes heavenly domain. Coupled with the fact that Mission Ghost Lord had just devoured too much power, he now seems to be a little overwhelmed. At this moment, the Jiaogui Yingli Gui collided directly towards the magic circle. With a bang, the two sharp horns on Jiaogui Ying's head hit the magic circle hard. I just felt the blood surge in my chest, and my throat felt fishy and sweet. Jiaogui Ying took several powerful ghosts to attack the magic circle in turn. With every attack, the light of the magic circle dimmed a bit. I knew I couldn't let them go on like this. I made a very bold decision. I took out the soul of Tarzan and threw it into the air. The palm-sized soul of Tarzan was suspended in mid-air and grew larger instantly. As the soul of Mount Tai grew in size, there was also the sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling. In an instant, a sinister wind surged inside the magic circle, and an invisible sense of oppression spread from the soul of Mount Tai. Hundreds of ghosts looked horrified. I know that using Taishan's soul this time is likely to release the evil ghosts in Taishan's soul and cause greater danger. But I have no choice now. As long as these evil ghosts are still in the Nine Eyes Heaven realm, I have a way to trap them, even if it means sacrificing myself to create a netherworld again. In a sense, the Nine Eyes Heaven realm is similar to the Yin realm. His existence is not only the ability to teleport, but after I used it many times, I discovered another ability of his. That is to seal the 100 ghosts and create the underworld. But the premise is that Zai Wei's luck needs to be restrained. That means sacrificing myself. I waved my hand suddenly, and the soul of Tarzan dropped rapidly with the movement of my hand. Countless ghosts were smashed into meat pies by the soul of Mount Tai, and their souls were scattered. Immediately afterwards, I saw an invisible gravity sucking the fleeing ghosts into the soul of Mount Tai. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen fierce ghosts were sucked into the soul of Mount Tai. However, as new ghosts entered Taishan's soul, the original strong yin energy of Taishan's soul strengthened again. And the seal sealing the soul of Mount Tai gradually loosened. At this time, I saw the Ghost Emperor again. The Ghost Emperor was smiling sinisterly at me. This time, he didn't say anything because he knew that this time the seal of Mount Tai's soul would definitely be broken. The yin energy of Mount Tai's soul became stronger and stronger, and the seal gradually began to loosen. I raised my hand and controlled the Nine Eyes heavenly domain to shrink towards the soul of Mount Tai. This is the last barrier to prevent the collapse of the soul of Tarzan. Even if those fierce ghosts could escape, they would still be blocked by the Nine Eyes heaven realm. And this also gave me time to use Zaiwei luck to strengthen the Nine Eyes heaven realm. At this moment, a powerful force burst out from Taishan's soul. Immediately afterwards, I felt a sweetness in my throat, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. The seal on Taishan's soul was broken. The moment the seal was broken, countless ghosts flew out from Mount Tai with a grin. The Ghost Emperor also landed firmly. He looked around and looked at the black barrier of the Nine Eyes heaven realm. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. The next moment, the Ghost Emperor's body was filled with yin energy, and the powerful yin energy almost dispersed the Nine Eyes heaven realm. And I, another mouthful of blood spurted out, collapsed to the ground. I took a deep breath and started to circulate the crepe myrtle luck in my body. The lavender mist emerged from my body, spread towards the black barrier of the Nine Eyes heaven realm, and finally merged into one. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanbao. Chapter 608. The Ghost Emperor finally spoke after seeing the changes in the Nine Eyes heaven realm. I didn't expect you to have mastered the Nine Eyes heaven realm. As soon as he finished speaking, the yin qi around the Ghost Emperor surged, and the powerful yin qi impacted the barrier of the Nine Eyes heaven realm. And every impact would bring me huge pain. I have to grit my teeth and get the final steps done. This matter started because of this, and I have to put an end to it. A long time ago, I had doubts about my own abilities. Could it be that everything I did was just to survive? At this time, I thought of my parents, grandparents, and second uncle. They died tragically at the hands of evil spirits, leaving their hope of survival to me. I often think back to what if at that time, I had the abilities I have now. Maybe, my family can still be by my side. Su Tianxian, Miao Fengluan, Zhang Xiai, Ruo Heng. These are people worth protecting with my life. If I had doubts about myself just now, then what Zhong Zhenling said and did just now made me know the answer. I want to destroy these evil spirits. I roared, and Zaiwei's luck became stronger and stronger. The Ghost Emperor's face changed slightly when he saw this scene. Xiang Yi, who was fighting with two mission elders, felt the crepe myrtle luck emanating from me and his complexion changed drastically. Lusu. Stop. Otherwise you will die. I gritted my teeth and replied with a trembling voice, Sir Xiang, thank you for staying with me for such a long time. This time, I don't want to stand behind you. At this moment, the dark clouds dissipated in the night sky and the stars shone brightly. The light of the Big Dipper shines on my body, and the luck of Zaiwei becomes stronger and stronger. The originally dark barrier of the Nine Eyes heaven territory turned into lavender at this moment. Within the Nine Eyes heaven territory, an invisible force oppressed the 100 ghosts. As Zaiwei's luck passed, my consciousness became more and more blurred, and even a revolving lantern appeared in front of my eyes. I have seen the hardships along the way. Finally, the picture stays on Su Tianxian. How I wish I could always be by her side, without evil spirits or disputes, and just live a simple and ordinary life. But at this moment, one scene after another of strange scenes appeared in front of my eyes. I stood in front of the main hall. In front of me was a huge altar, with all the civil and military officials standing neatly behind me. In front of the altar was a woman wearing Taoist robes. I knew who the woman was just by looking at her back. Su Tianxian. As soon as the scene changed, we came to a garden. In the garden, a woman supervised my Taoist practice. I called her senior sister. And this woman is still Su Tianxian. The picture keeps changing, and every time I change my identity, Su Tianxian is always by my side. What's going on? Immediately afterwards, my head began to swell and hurt, and then the picture in front of me shattered. A familiar voice sounded from my ears. "Lusu, we meet again." I was slightly startled when a man appeared in front of me. The man was wearing a yellow robe and he looked exactly like me. You are Yunziazi." The man smiled slightly and said, "That's right." I was a little excited. I finally met Yunziazi, who had helped me countless times. And he looks exactly like me. This also confirmed my inner guess that Yunziazi was my previous life. Just as I was about to speak, Yunziazi waved his hand towards me and said, "I know you have too many doubts in your heart, and the one that makes you most doubtful is my relationship with you. And now, I will tell you one by one. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Ching Nian Wanbao. Chapter 609. Looking at Yunziazi, I felt like I was looking into a mirror. Yunziazi slowly said, "You and I are not related to each other in the past life. Not the past and present life. So why do we two look exactly the same? What's the relationship?" Yunziazi looked at me with a smile. "What does it have to do with it? It's just that you created us in your spare time in reincarnation after reincarnation." The corners of my mouth twitched slightly. This answer made me even more confused. Wait, I seem to have overlooked something. "We, who else besides Yunziazi?" "You?" I asked doubtfully. Yunziazi nodded. "That's right, us. I'm just an ordinary person, how could it be possible?" These words of Yunziazi seemed to me to be a bit fanciful. How could I have such great ability and create such a powerful character like Yunziazi? Yunziazi waved his hand. "There is no need to belittle yourself. I can't tell you your identity now. When you completely eliminate the 9 evil stars in the future, you will know everything." Seeing that Yunziazi refused to say anything, I didn't continue to ask. The appearance of Yunziazi did not reduce my doubts about my life experience, but made it even more confusing. "Don't worry, I believe that day will come soon." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Yunziazi smiled slightly and said, "Okay, I will help you one last time. This is the last time you and I will see each other." "The last time? Won't we see you again?" "Yes, I said that the last ray of my soul was sealed in the soul of Mount Tai. The purpose was to suppress these evil ghosts. But now that the seal is broken, I can only use my soul to suppress them again." I don't know why, but when I heard Yunziazi's words, I felt inexplicably sad. Yunziazi saw my thoughts, smiled calmly, and replied, "Don't worry, I will always be by your side. You are me, and I am you." Yunziazi's figure gradually disappeared, and his voice became more and more distant. Just when Yunziazi was about to disappear, his ethereal voice reached my ears again. "By the way, there's one more thing." I shouted at him, "What's going on?" "Be kind to the woman named Sue next to you. I hope you can have a perfect ending with her." As soon as I finished speaking, my eyes were filled with a vast expanse of white. "Treat Su Tianqian well? Of course I will be kind. But what does it mean to hope that Su Tianqian and I can have a perfect ending? Could it be that Yunziazi knows something?" The white light dissipated, and what came into view was the 10,000 ghosts struggling in the nine-eyed heaven. At this moment, a dazzling golden light flashed from Taishan's soul. Under the night, this beam of golden light looked particularly dazzling. The golden light engulfed all ghosts and sealed them in the soul of Mount Tai again. Of course, this also includes those ghosts who escaped from the underworld. Although the immediate crisis has been resolved, my body is extremely exhausted. If it hadn't been for Yunziazi's appearance, I'm afraid I would have returned to the West long ago. I retracted the 9 eyes heaven realm and stretched out my hand. The soul of Mount Tai became smaller and flew into my hand. I looked back and saw Zhong Zhenling and Mission Gaizun engaged in a fierce battle. When I placed the realization on Zhong Zhenling, I was stunned for a moment. I saw that his originally black hair turned into a full head of silver hair at this moment. His offensive was not as fierce as before, and he was obviously at a disadvantage. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanba. Chapter 610. Such a change in Zhong Zhenling reminded me of what Gaizun said before. That means Zhong Zhengling's lifespan has expired. I wanted to step forward to help, but because of the excessive exertion just now, I didn't even have the strength to lift my fingers. At this time, Mission Ghost Lord seemed to have lost his patience and distanced himself from Zhong Zhenling. At the same time, Xiang Yi also fought with two mission elders. He retreated and came to Zhong Zhenling. Just when the two sides were in a stalemate, a black figure walked out of the darkness and came straight to the Ghost Lord. Ghost Master, the preparations for the Lucian Daijiao have been made, and we need you to host it. Mission Ghost Lord looked at the Taoist priest lightly. Then he nodded, looked at Zhong Zhenling with a sneer on his lips, and said nothing. Then he looked at me again, and the voice of Mission Ghost Lord rang in my ears. Lu Su, I will spare your life for today. After the Lucian festival is over, you will die. As soon as he finished speaking, Mission Ghost Lord turned around and left. How could Zhong Zhenling give him this opportunity? He raised his sword and stepped forward, but was blocked by two mission elders. Helpless, he could only fight with it. Xiang Yi also joined in. Just like that, I could only watch the Mission Ghost Lord disappear into the darkness. Xiang Yi and Zhong Zhenling teamed up and quickly defeated the two mission elders. Just when Xiang Yi was about to kill him. But Zhong Zhenling resisted. He turned his head and said to me, "Boy, I can borrow the seal for you." Print. I instantly knew what Zhong Zhenling was referring to. I quickly took out the evil suppressing seal from my pocket and threw it towards Zhong Zhenling. After Zhong Zhenling took the seal, he held the seal with both hands. The golden words of the evil suppressing seal emerged from the bottom of the seal, then enveloped the two mission elders, and then disappeared into the body. As the golden characters entered their bodies, the two mission elders instantly lost their ability to move and collapsed to the ground. Zhong Zhenling, however, held his chest and breathed heavily. Xiang Yi came to me, helped me up, and then came to Zhong Zhenling. Seeing his painful look, I asked worriedly, "Are you okay?" Zhong Zhenling waved his hands, then sat cross-legged on the ground and began to meditate. After a while, Zhong Zhengling's breathing became steady. He stood up and returned the evil suppressing seal to me. At this time, I discovered that not only Zhong Zhengling's hair, but also his originally young appearance had become extremely old. Now he is an old man in his twilight years. He looked at me, then smiled and said, "Boy, you did a good job just now. You are worthy of being Brother Linlong's grandson." I couldn't be happier about Zhong Zhengling's praise. This trip to the underworld turned out to be a failure. Mission Ghost Lord ran out, and even Zhong Zhenling became like this. Xiang Yi looked at Zhong Zhenling and hesitated for a moment, then said, "You don't have much time left." Zhong Zhenling nodded. Afterwards, he returned to Jiyuntang with the bodies of the two mission elders. Xiang Yi said goodbye to me, and he said to me seriously, "Xiao Su, if you need my help with anything, just ask." Xiao Su, this title made me slightly stunned. Just as he was about to answer, he saw Xiang Yi return to his usual careless demeanor. "But only if you pay." I shook my head helplessly and smiled bitterly. Xiang Yi continued, "I will inform your companions and they will return to Tianfu City tomorrow." I nodded, and then Xiang Yi reached out and patted my shoulder and said, "Boy, you impressed me today." After saying that, his figure flashed and disappeared instantly.